Today's Hope at Home devotional is going to be taken from the Gospel of Mark. And this is Mark chapter 4, a familiar story. In the same day, it says in verse 35, when the even was come, he saith unto them, Let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship, and there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow, and they awake him, and saying to him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind, and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? And they feared exceedingly, and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? And there are many different lessons that we could draw from this passage. There are many things that we could devote our time to or our mind to, that we could meditate on and think about. And yet I would like to draw your attention to a phrase that gets somewhat repeated, a term that gets used twice. Verse 37 says, And there arose a great storm. And then in verse 39, at the end of the verse, it says that there was a great calm. And I want to encourage your heart today, if I can, I'd like to attempt to. I'd like to encourage your heart with this truth. However big your problem, Jesus Christ has a solution. However small your problem, Jesus Christ has an answer. You see, for these disciples, you can't imagine a bigger problem, a bigger obstacle than a storm that is scaring professional sailors. And yet, the answer that Jesus Christ gave was directly proportional to the problem that they had. I know that there are times in my own life where I fret about my problems, and there are actually times where a smaller problem scares me or bothers me more than a larger one. I feel as though there's something wrong with me for worrying about such a small thing or being concerned with this thing that seems minuscule maybe in the eyes of others. Perhaps it's something that I almost would even feel embarrassed to pray about or to ask someone to pray about with me. And the incredible thing about Jesus Christ, and we see what he does here: when there's a large problem, he has a large answer. When there's a small problem, he could provide an answer in kind as well. You understand this, that Jesus Christ knows your problem. He knows right where you are. The Bible tells us that the very hairs of our head are numbered. Now, you've probably heard someone explain that before. It's not just that he knows how many you have, he has numbered them. They are each numbered. He counts the stars. He tells the stars. And Jesus Christ has a personal knowledge of you and a personal knowledge of your problems. The Bible says that we have this priest who can be touched with the feelings of our infirmities. Christ knows where you are, and Christ has exactly the answer for your need. Now, the truth of the matter is, He rebukes the wind and the storm, which I really appreciate that about Christ. He goes and he actually tackles the problem, and this is what he's done for us when it comes to our eternal problem of sin and our temporal problems like a storm. But he attacks those problems, and he is the champion for us. He is our David going out and facing our Goliath. But then he also corrects the disciples. He said, Why were you so afraid? Where's your faith? Why don't you have any faith? You see, they went to Jesus Christ to complain about the problem. They were almost concerned, it seemed, that he wasn't sufficiently worried about the problem. And yet Jesus is telling, I think the lesson that Jesus wants them to know is that he was the answer to the problem all along. Whenever you have a great storm, Jesus Christ has a great calm for that storm. I hope that thought will stick with you throughout the day today and whenever you face another storm in your life. We look forward to seeing you next time on Hope at Home.